So, when you think about the students that you worked with, what was kind of the locus or the center of meaning for them? Where did they find meaning as they walked through their years at university?
Yeah. So it would vary from student to student, of course, but maybe some trends that emerged over my time that I observed. The University of Waterloo is a STEM focused university. Engineering, computer science, mathematics are the main parts of the university ethos. And that means a lot of hard work. It is a high stakes, high pressure place. So competition, anxiety, exhaustion, all those things that kind of come along with a very sort of work oriented place was a major determinative feature of the campus culture. And then along with that sort of hard work, desire to perform piece, I remember one morning after our communion breakfast that met on Monday mornings on campus, I remember asking the students that were gathered in the room, do you believe that this place values you for who you are or values you for what you can do or what you can accomplish? And every single student said, what we can do or what we can accomplish. So their self-worth is generated by their their academic success or lack thereof. I think that's a huge determining factor for who they found themselves to be. Um, yeah.
Authenticity, being unique is really important in our culture right now. And how do your students define that in that multicultural setting? And why do they see it as being important?
Yeah. I did a lot of work with students who were in a liminal space in their faith.
Ah,
They'd grown up in the church. They'd heard stories about Jesus, right? All the sort of like milestones and steps that a typical young person might experience along the way. But then as they emerged into adulthood, they started asking big questions. Things started to rattle loose that they hadn't considered before. They started to differentiate from their parents and their family systems. And almost every single student, I think, that I encountered who was going through that thought that they were maybe going through that alone. At least it was a lonely experience for them. They might have joined like one of the big campus Christian communities and felt like everyone there has got it together, but I'm the one with the big existential question. So uniqueness kind of is a very common uniqueness, right? There was a lot of students experiencing this, but they weren't necessarily talking about it together. And I think now in the face of pluralism, in the face of an unbundling of denominational identity and culture, I think the question of who I am becomes far more open. And so I saw students leave faith and reject it outright, sensing an inner movement in themselves that this was not for me any longer. But I also saw students reclaim it. And so I would have pastoral conversations with students who said, what do I do with this thing that I don't think I believe in anymore? And then other students who would say, whoa, I've got this new thing, which kind of looks like the old thing, but like it just hit me like a ton of bricks over the summer. And I want to know what to do with that. One of my colleagues in campus ministry, one of my peers said once that he feels like a lot of CRC campus ministers are like the on-ramp for a lot of students into faith and also the on-ramp for other students, or the off-ramp, sorry, for other students. And I certainly found that to be the case in my own time. So yeah, that identity, navigating those big questions was a critical piece.
What's the last thing you would like to drop in their laps about university students that you'd say you really need to pay attention to this?
When I think of the sweetest spot of my work, the work that I take the most pride in, it was that personal one-on-one mentoring and spiritual direction. I'm not a certified spiritual director, but a quasi-spiritual direction work that I did with students at all different stages in their own sort of faith sensibility. Whether it was students who were about to leave faith entirely or students who were on their way in. I found that to be the most rewarding, and I found that to be the most fruitful, I think. In terms of numbers, those numbers were certainly lower. That was not a big party event, not a big program event, but it was a certain incredible intimacy and trust that I just really, really relish. And I think it's a really great model for going forward into this new day and new opportunities that we've got.